There is a woman in Tucson who has lived in a 2003 GMC Savannah van for 9 years, parked overnight in some of the highest vehicle theft zip codes in Arizona. She did not plan this life. She lost her apartment in 2017, and the van was what she had left. In 9 years, that van has been broken into exactly 0 times, while camper vans and RVs parked on the same streets got hit over and over, some of them twice in the same month. It is not because she owns an expensive alarm system. Her entire security setup cost her less than $40. It is because she learned the rules that people who live in their vehicles teach each other and almost nobody else, because for them, a break-in does not mean losing a stereo. It means losing their home, their documents, and everything they own in one night. Tonight, you get all 7 of those rules, plus the 5 mistakes that undo them, including one so ordinary you have probably made it this week without ever knowing what it signals. Now, you might be watching this because you travel in a van or keep tools in a work truck. You might be watching because you park on the street and the neighborhood is not what it used to be. Or you might just find it fascinating how the people with the least to lose became the best in the world at not losing it. Some of them, like the woman in Tucson, were homeless and had no other option. Others chose the road. Either way, they learned under real pressure with real consequences, and what they learned protects any vehicle, whether it is your home, your livelihood, or the car in your driveway. So, let's start with the rule that changes how you see every parking lot for the rest of your life. Number 1, the 3-second shopping window. The van thief in your imagination is a planner, a man who watches a vehicle for days and picks his moment. The reality, according to the people who have watched it happen from behind their own window covers, is almost insulting. The average vehicle thief is a shopper. He walks down a row of parked cars the way you walk down a grocery aisle, glancing through each window for about 3 seconds, looking for a reason to stop. A bag on the seat, a cord on the dash, a toolbox in the back. If the glance shows nothing, he keeps walking because the next vehicle is 20 feet away and might show something. One man who spent 5 years in a Ford E250 in Sacramento watched that routine play out dozens of times from behind his own curtain, and not once did anyone try a door on a van that looked empty through the glass. So the veterans run what they call the audit. Before walking away from the van, they cross the street, stand where a stranger would stand, and look at their own vehicle for 3 seconds. If anything visible suggests value, anything at all, they go back and fix it. The cab stays as bare as a rental car on the return lot. Because here is the truth that flips everything. Your van is not chosen the moment someone breaks in. It is chosen in those 3 seconds, hours earlier, and most owners never know the audition even happened. But passing the glance test only matters if the van is parked where a thief can be seen failing, which brings us to parking. Number 2, park like it is a chess move. People who live in vehicles do not park in a spot. They park in a position, and the position is built around one question. If someone attacks a door, what do they have to deal with? The first move is the wall. A van's weakest points are the sliding door and the rear doors, so the veterans back up tight against a building wall, a fence, or a concrete pillar, close enough that the rear doors physically cannot swing open. A door that cannot open cannot be robbed through, and a thief working a lock in that narrow gap is pinned with no exit. The second move is the audience. Beginners hide their vehicles in dark corners, thinking darkness protects them. Darkness is the thief's best friend. The experienced crowd parks under a working light, within view of a door people actually use, a gym entrance, a hospital lobby, a diner window full of regulars, because a thief can never know those people are not watching. And the third move is the exit. Nose out, always. A van parked nose out looks driven by someone confident and ready, and it lets the owner leave in seconds if a situation turns bad. One woman who spent 2 Chicago winters in a minivan put it simply. She never parked her home anywhere she would not feel comfortable standing alone at 2 a.m. because if she would not stand there, her van should not sit there. But even a perfectly positioned van fails if it tells the wrong story through its paint and windows. That is where the disguise comes in, and it is the opposite of what most people think. Number 3, looking worthless beats looking guarded. Walk through any parking lot and you can spot the vehicles that scream value. The camper van with the solar panels on the roof, the rooftop fan, the bike rack, the national park stickers. To a traveler, that van says freedom. To a thief, it says the entire inventory of an outdoor store is behind one pane of glass. Now look at a faded work van with a dented bumper, a ladder rack with nothing on it, and a magnetic sign for a drain cleaning company. What does it say? It says use tools, dirty buckets, and nothing worth the trouble. Vehicle dwellers discovered this hierarchy the hard way, and the smart ones weaponized it. They drive plain white or gray cargo vans, keep the outside slightly ugly on purpose, and leave cosmetic damage alone. One man in Denver refused to wash his van for years, not out of laziness, but strategy. Road grime, he said, was the cheapest security coating on the market. And here is the detail that surprises people the most. The veterans avoid alarm stickers and security decals. A sticker that says "protected by alarm" tells a thief two things. First, the owner believes there is something inside worth alarming. Second, exactly what he is up against. A blank, dirty, boring van tells him nothing, and a thief with no information moves on to a vehicle that offers some. The disguise wins the first look, but some thieves push past the first look, and for them, the veterans prepare something meaner. Number 4, make it slow and loud. Experienced thieves budget their time in seconds, not minutes. Under a minute at a door is business. 2 minutes is a risk. 3 minutes exposed on a quiet street fighting a stubborn lock while metal rattles is a job almost none of them will finish. The people who live in their vehicles understood early that no lock is unbeatable, so they stopped trying to make their vans impossible to open and started making them slow and loud to open. The favorite tool is the puck lock, that round steel disc you see on contractor vans, bolted over the rear and sliding door handles. It hides its shackle so bolt cutters have nothing to grab, and defeating one takes noisy, awkward, time-eating work. Behind the puck lock, many add a simple interior barrel bolt or hasp on the doors, so even a picked lock meets a second surprise. On the cab doors, a bright steering wheel bar does double duty. It slows a thief down, and more importantly, it is visible through the windshield from 30 feet away, which sends most shoppers walking before they ever touch the handle. One former dweller in Portland described his philosophy in a single sentence. He said, "A thief is not afraid of your lock. He is afraid of your neighbor's porch light coming on while he is still fighting it." Every layer you add is not really steel. It is time, and time is noise, and noise is witnesses. But all of that protects what is inside the van. There is a second kind of thief who does not want what is inside. He wants the van itself, and for him, the veterans keep a $10 trick that has humiliated professionals. Number 5, the hidden kill switch. Older vans, the ones from the 90s and 2000s that vehicle dwellers favor because they are cheap and fixable, are also the easiest vehicles on the road to hotwire or start with a shaved key. A practiced thief can have one running in under 2 minutes, unless the van simply refuses to start. The kill switch is a small, cheap toggle wired into the ignition circuit or the fuel pump, hidden somewhere only the owner knows. Under the carpet flap by the seat rail, inside the glove box wall, behind a plastic panel in the door. Flip it off when you park, and the engine will crank all night long without ever catching. The beauty of it is psychological. The thief has already committed. He is in the driver's seat, exposed behind glass, cranking an engine that will not fire, with no idea why. Thieves do not troubleshoot, they leave. A retired electrician who lived 3 years in a Chevy Express built his from a toggle switch and a few feet of wire, and he swore it outperformed every $400 alarm his friends ever bought, because an alarm screams after the theft starts, while a kill switch quietly makes the theft impossible. Some go even simpler with a battery disconnect knob on the terminal. A half turn, and the whole vehicle plays dead. If this is the kind of knowledge you want more of, hit subscribe, because every week this channel breaks down what people who live on the edge of things have figured out the hard way. Now, the kill switch protects the van, and the locks protect the doors. But the veterans assume that someday, someone gets inside anyway, and for that day, they arrange the inside of the van to tell a lie. Number 6, the decoy and the deep stash. Step inside a long-timer's van, and the first thing you notice is what you can find. A center console sitting open and obviously empty. A glove box with nothing but the manual and a tire gauge. Maybe an old wallet in a cubby holding a few small bills and an expired grocery card. That is the decoy layer, and it exists to end a search early. A thief inside a van is on a clock, tearing through the obvious spots first: console, glove box, under the seats. If those spots sit open, empty, or hold a small sacrifice, the search often dies right there, because an empty console whispers that the whole vehicle is a dry well. Meanwhile, everything that actually matters lives in the deep stash, and the deep stash follows one rule: valuable things live in worthless containers. Cash inside a zip bag at the bottom of a detergent box. Documents in a grimy first aid kit under a pile of jumper cables. One woman kept her laptop in a beat-up diaper bag, and she said, "No thief in America has ever stolen a diaper bag on purpose." The advanced version is the built-in: a false floor under the plywood bed platform, a wall panel on magnets, a locked steel box bolted through the frame itself, so removing it means dismantling the van. The principle is the same one casinos use. You cannot stop everyone from looking, so you control what they find. And yet, every dweller who teaches this stuff will tell you the stash, the locks, and the switch are all backup plans for the one deterrent that beats everything else combined. It is the reason their vans survive neighborhoods where alarms mean nothing. Number 7. An occupied van is an untouchable van. Ask 100 vehicle thieves what they fear, and the honest ones will not say police, cameras, or alarms. They will say a person. The one moment a thief cannot recover from is a door opening on a vehicle he believed was empty, so the entire trade runs on one filter. Never touch an occupied vehicle. People who live in their vans hold the ultimate version of that card, because their van usually is occupied, and the street never knows when. But the clever part is how they extend the protection to the hours they are away. They plant signals of presence. A large, well-chewed dog bowl by the rear bumper with a heavy chain leash beside it, whether or not a dog has ever ridden in that van. Work boots visible on the floor. A dim interior light left glowing behind a curtain crack on a cheap timer. None of it proves someone is inside. All of it makes emptiness impossible to verify, and a thief cannot bet his freedom on a coin flip, which means the strongest security system a van has ever had is a warm, alert human behind its doors. And that is exactly where winter becomes the enemy, because staying with your vehicle through freezing nights is where this strategy breaks for most people, and the obvious solution, idling the engine for heat, is the worst one. Idling announces you to the whole street, burns fuel by the tank, and if snow packs around the tailpipe, carbon monoxide can drift into the cabin while you sleep. The old-timers guard their vans through the cold months with the engine off by trapping body heat instead. Quite a few of them keep an emergency thermal bivvy in the van for exactly this, and it is worth having even if you never sleep in your vehicle, because the same gear that lets a dweller hold his post in January is what keeps a stranded driver alive on a highway shoulder in a snowstorm. There is one called TerraShell, a full-body sleeping bag lined with a reflective layer that bounces roughly 90% of your body heat straight back at you. It packs down small enough to live in a glove box and forget about until the night you need it, and it warms you up in minutes using nothing but the heat your own body is already making. If you want one riding in your vehicle this winter, the link is in the description below, because a van with a warm, alert human inside is the one vehicle on the street no thief will ever open. So, those are the 7 rules. Follow them, and your van becomes a bad deal. And thieves are, above everything else, deal hunters. But there are 5 mistakes that can undo all 7 rules in a single evening. And the first one is the mistake I warned you about at the start. The ordinary one you have probably made this week. Mistake number 1, the charging cord. You cleaned out the van, nothing visible, cab like a rental car, except for one white cable hanging from the cigarette lighter, and maybe the faint ring a suction cup mount left on the windshield glass. To you, that is nothing. You took the phone and the GPS with you. To a thief walking his 3-second aisle, that cable is a printed receipt. It says electronics live in this vehicle, and the owner probably tucked them under the seat or in the console, because that is what owners do. Police who work vehicle break-in details say the same thing over and over. Cars get windows smashed over a visible cord attached to absolutely nothing. Hundreds of dollars of damage for a $2 cable, because in the thief's mind, that cord points straight at a phone, a tablet, or a GPS hiding somewhere within reach of it. The fix takes 5 seconds. The cord comes out of the socket and into the glove box, the suction ring gets wiped off the glass, and the story your windshield tells goes silent. Mistake number 2, the routine. A thief cannot rob a van he cannot predict, so the most valuable thing you can hand him is a pattern. Parked in the same driveway spot, loaded with tools every night, gone every morning at 7. The man who steals from work trucks is often someone who lives or walks nearby, and he does not strike the first time he notices you. He watches, the way a fisherman watches a pond, and by the second week, he knows your schedule better than your family does. The vehicle dwellers beat this with rotation, never sleeping in the same place twice in a row, and the homeowner's version is smaller but real. Vary where the van sits. Unload the expensive tools some nights and let it be seen empty. Break the schedule a stranger could write down. Predictable vans get harvested. Unpredictable vans get skipped. Mistake number 3, loose talk and the open door show. This one stings because it is friendly. You are at a gas station, the sliding door wide open while you dig for something, and a stranger strikes up a conversation about your setup. You are proud of the van, so you show him the bed platform, the power station, the tool chest, the whole layout. He is pleasant, he wishes you well, and he now holds a complete inventory and a mental map of your vehicle. Longtime dwellers treat the inside of the van like a wallet. You do not open it wide in public, and you do not narrate its contents. Almost no curious stranger is casing you, but the one who is looks exactly like the ones who are not, and the only winning move is a boring answer and a mostly closed door. Mistake number 4, trusting the nice neighborhood. Beginners assume theft lives where poverty lives, so they relax the moment the streets get wide and the lawns get green. Thieves know this, and it is precisely why they commute. Wealthy areas, trailhead parking lots, gym lots, and hotel rows are where relaxed owners park loaded vehicles, and a thief in clean clothes can walk that aisle without drawing a glance. Ask the hikers who came back to shattered glass at a mountain trailhead, or the contractor whose truck got emptied outside a golf course. The people who live in vehicles never grade a street by its landscaping. They grade it by glass on the pavement and by who is around to see a door being worked at 3 a.m. The rules do not soften because the zip code improved. If anything, the nicer the area looks, the more valuable your boring, locked, empty-looking van becomes. Mistake number 5, confronting the thief. Because someday, despite everything, you may look out a window and see a stranger at your van, and the mistake that turns a property crime into a tragedy is walking out to stop him with your own hands. Every long-term dweller who has been through it gives the same advice. The van is metal. You are not. From safety, become the worst witness he has ever had. Lights on, the horn hammering, a loud voice announcing that police are on the way, a phone camera held high. Nearly every time, the man is gone before the horn stops echoing, because noise and attention are the two things his trade cannot survive. One old-timer in a pickup camper said it best after interrupting a break-in Albuquerque. He said he could replace a window for $200, but nobody sells replacement ribs, and he honked that man into the next county without ever opening his door. And when you step back, all 12 of these collapse into one idea that a thief can never argue with. Be a bad deal. Show nothing in 3 seconds. Park where doors cannot be worked and eyes cannot be avoided. Look worthless. Open slow and loud. Refuse to start. Hide the good behind the empty. And never let a thief be sure the van is truly alone. The people who mastered this were not security experts. They were just protecting the only roof they had. But what they learned about how thieves choose and how easily that choice can be steered somewhere else is worth knowing whether you ever spend a night in a vehicle or not, which is exactly why that TerraShell link is waiting in the description below. And on your screen right now is the companion to this video. The 7 rules those same vehicle dwellers use to sleep anywhere without ever getting a knock on the window. Tonight you learned how they keep thieves out. That one shows you how they stay invisible in the first place. Go watch it.